It is a chicken and egg problem. How do you land an Upwork client when you have no experience? And how do you get experience if you can't land a client? I've been there, my friend. Back in 2016, I had a blank profile, baby freelancer with no real relevant work experience and certainly no freelancing experience. But since then, I've worked with 40 plus clients and scaled to 6 figures as a freelancer, and it all started from that very first client on Upwork. So shout out to Topher, who was my first client. And in this video, let's talk about how to get you that very first Upwork job, the 3 non-negotiables you need to look for in a first job on Upwork, and how to actually land it to get you going with this whole freelancing thing finally. Hey, it's Dea, freelancer, digital business manager, most recently entrepreneur, and as always, you can find sections on the play bar below if you want to skip to a certain part of the video. Your time is precious, take what you need. If you want to watch this on 2x, please feel free to do so. I will not be offended. Let's dive in. Okay, so I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but I'm saying it anyway. The point of your first job on Upwork is not to earn lots of money. It is not to find the perfect client. It is not to find the perfect, sparkling dream job that you want to do for the next 10 years. The point of your first job is just to get a good testimonial fast. It's to get that first piece of social proof on that profile so you have something on there that says, oh, don't worry, you're not my first client. I've done this before. We need to lower the amount of risk for the clients that you are actually looking to work long-term with, and to do that we need to show some proof of concept on our profile, proof that you are not a total newbie essentially. So when you're looking for your first job, I need you to stop overthinking it, and trust me, I understand because I am the overthinking queen, but I hear all the time, oh, I don't know, I don't want to apply to this because I'm not sure I'll like it 1 year from now, or I'm not sure about this one, the client doesn't really work in my exact dream industry. It does not matter for your first job. It's better to spend 100% of your time applying than to spend 95% of your time overthinking and 5% applying. In the early stages of freelancing, you don't and you won't need to know what steps 2 through 100 look like, or what your niche is going to be, or who your dream client should be. In the early stages, just focus on trying things. Focus on casting your net as wide as possible and seeing what happens. Focus on learning about yourself, about the different skills you're considering, about the types of clients you're curious about the types of businesses and products that you find interesting. That should be your only focus. Now, here's the easy 3-item checklist of what your first job on Upwork absolutely has to be. 1, your first job needs to be completely realistic and doable by you, aka you need to be 95% confident you can do it and do a great job. You know how sometimes we sign on projects where we're like, okay, I don't know how to do this exactly, but I'll probably, hopefully, figure it out with my bestie Google. That is not what your first job should be. Your first job, you need to be 100% clear on what the client expects and 95% confident you can do it and do a great job at it. This helps guarantee that our first job is a success and that we get that beautiful testimonial. Next, you need to make sure you are vetting the client for the very basic things in the client's profile. So try to find a client with good reviews, at least 4.8 stars, who has spent some sort of money on Upwork, who has verified payment, who doesn't trigger any major red flags in your conversations with them. Ideally, if they've got like a few green flags like fast responses, clear communication, polite and respectful, realistic expectations, because, well, obviously we don't want to sign a nightmare person as our first client. That would be a very bad start to all of this. And finally, and most importantly, the project absolutely needs to be a short-term project with an end in sight. Regret doing that. This is obviously my opinion, so don't argue with me, but my advice is your first project should be a fixed one-time project, and I do not recommend signing an ongoing retainer client as your first client. Why? Because chances are your rates are quite low when you're just starting, so we don't want to overcommit to a client on a low rate. And yes, you can increase rates with your clients, but if you sign a client at $10 an hour, it will take a long time to get it up to $35 an hour with that same client. So to move our rates up quickly, what I recommend is to get a few shorter term clients under our belt quickly and then crank our prices up slowly and sign longer and longer term projects. Also, we want a short term project because your profile is completely empty. If you do a long term project, that testimonial won't be there till you finish that long project. So we want to get a really quick win testimonial onto our profile to act as, you know, the yoo-hoo, I'm not a total newbie, don't worry, to get us going. So here's my first job on Upwork as an example. You can see it is a one-time project. They were looking for an entry-level person. The client had fantastic reviews, verified payment. I read the job description and I was like, sounds easy enough. I can do this, right? So this is the first freelance client and job I ever signed, and it was not a dream client, nor a dream job, nor a dream task, and definitely not dream pay. But again, it didn't matter because it got me going, and all that good stuff, money, fame, fortune, stardom, will follow if you just get started with that very first job. All right, landing that client. There is no magic here. If you are watching this expecting a magic secret hack, please lower your expectations. There is no secret hack, okay? There's only optimization and persistence when it comes to your first job. You will not get your first job after sending one proposal. You'll probably not get your first job after sending 10 proposals. I actually pulled open my Upwork profile and clicked back 30 pages of proposals to find this data for you. It took me 19 proposals to land my first job. My first job was the 20th proposal I sent on Upwork, and it took me another 20 proposals to land my second job. I wanted to share that because I want to be transparent and I want to set clear expectations from you of, it's not just going to be sending 1 or 2 every once in a while and you'll land every job. That's not realistic. So here's the step-by-step of landing that first job. First, make your Upwork profile good, really good. I have got a video on that. 2, find jobs that fulfill the 3 characteristics we talked about in this video. Those are non-negotiable in my opinion, and do not overthink. Do not overthink about niche and dream client and dream business and all this stuff. The point is just to get started. And when we first get started, we don't know all the answers. That's the point, right? We've never done this before. That's okay. So just begin, send out those proposals. Don't overthink it. Of course, we want to write a good proposal. I've got a video on that as well. And the 4th is to find ways to work on your profile, your proposal, on yourself and your skill set during this whole process. How can you make things better? Are you getting feedback from clients? Can you implement that feedback? All of that good stuff. We can send it to somebody, a friend or a colleague or a family member who will be honest with us, and just make sure that we are tweaking ourselves to be a little bit better with every single proposal. And of course, rinse and repeat, right? The magic ingredient is, you guessed it, it's persistence. Like boring old persistence. It's not sexy, but it is what will actually get you there. So send out at least 20 to 30 proposals and really stick with this for at least 3 to 4 weeks. I also try to apply within 2 to 3 hours of a job being posted because I speak from experience. After a client publishes a job, they're like excitedly waiting for that first application to come in because they're still on Upwork. So you want that first mover advantage. And of course, most importantly, do a good job once you land that first job to nail that testimonial to your Upwork wall. And again, I just want to give you so much encouragement to get out there and land that first job because like I said, I landed Topher, my first client, back in 2016, and Topher is kind of what paved the way for everything. If I hadn't just applied to that 20th job on Upwork, I don't know where I would be, and I'm very scared to think about where I could be if I hadn't just kept applying to jobs on Upwork. And if you're looking to really make good use of your time sending out those Upwork proposals, here's my Upwork proposal template, which I definitely did not use in the beginning and definitely hurt my chances of landing my first job. So click here to catch this video before it's gone. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye!